Day 635 of doing a LeetCode problem every day until I get a job. All right, y'all, we're back again. Another day, another LeetCode problem where we're doing daily LeetCode problems. And today we have question number 922, sort array by parity 2. The difficulty level is easy, so you already know we're going to keep the solution as simple and easy to understand as well. But before we get started, y'all, don't forget to like, hype, subscribe, comment, and share. And if you need any new Apple AirPods, go ahead and check out that link in the description so you can get you some. Now let's see what the question says. Given an array of integers nums, half of the integers and nums are odd and the other half are even. Sort the array so that whenever nums of I is odd, and whenever nums of I is even. Return any answer array that satisfies this condition. Alright, y'all, so that sounds simple enough, but let's go ahead and take a look at these examples anyway, just to make sure that we are doing this problem correctly. So, in example 1, we have our input nums equals an array of integers 4, 2, 5, 7. So as you can see, the first half is even, second half is odd. We want to make it so that each index corresponds with an odd or even element, right? So if the index is odd, then the element or the value should be odd. And if the index is even, then the value should be even, right? So let's look at the output. At input 0, 0 counts as an even, has a even value right here. Boom. Index 1, 1 is odd, has an odd value right here. Index 2, 2 is even, has an even value right here. Index 3, 3 is odd, so it has an odd value right here, right? And same with all of these other ways. These are all of the other ways we could have structured our arrays or ordered our arrays, right? Each one of these arrays follows the same rules where if the index is even, then the value is even. And if the index is odd, then the value is odd, right? So that's all we're trying to do. So that's how we got the output 4, 5, 2, 7, because it has a for every even index, that index has an even value, and for every odd index, that has an odd value, right? So now let's take a look at example 2 where we don't have to change anything, right? So in example 2, our input nums equals an array of integers 2 and 3. The output is 2 and 3, right? Because we already have an even number at the even index 0, and we already have an odd number at the odd index 1, so we don't have to change anything. So now that we understand the question, y'all, let's get into the fun part, the actual solution. Solution is not that difficult at all. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create our result array of the same size as nums, and we're going to just initialize it with zeros for a default value to start. So we'll declare a variable called r. We'll set that equal to an array. Open up the parentheses. It's going to be repeating, :0, comma, count, :nums dot count. Boom. So this is basically going to have an array of zeros for however long nums is. Boom. Just to start, just to, as a as a default value. Now we're going to create our odd pointer for placing odd numbers at odd indices. So we'll declare a variable called odd counter. We'll set that equal to 1 to start. And then we need to do the same thing and create an even pointer for placing even numbers at even indices. So we'll declare another variable called even counter, and we'll set that equal to 0. Boom. Now we need to iterate through each number in the input array by saying for num and nums. We're going to open up the brackets. And if the number is even, we're going to place it at the next available even index. So we'll say if num mod 2 equals 0. Once again, this num mod 2 is going to get us, it's going to divide nums by 2, and we want to check to see the remainder is 0, right? So this returns a Boolean. So if the remainder, if we divide num by 2 and the remainder is 0, that means it's even. That means it's even. So we can say r square bracket even counter. We could just set that equal to num. Boom. And then we need to we need to move the even counter 2 places up, because if we move it 1 up, that will be an odd indices. So we're going to jump it 2 indices up, so it will land back on an even indices. So we're going to move the even counter, or we're going to increment even counter by 2 by saying plus equals 2. So this will take it from index 0 to index 2, from index 2 to index 4, from index 4 to index 6, and so on, so on, so that the even counter is always on the even index. Then we need to handle if it's odd, so we can say else, boom, we'll open up the bracket, and if the number is odd, we need to place it at the next available odd index. So we're going to say r square bracket odd counter, boom, we're going to set that equal to none. Boom, then we're going to say odd counter plus equals 2. And once again, that's going to make sure that the odd counter stays on the odd index, right? So right now it's going to start at index 1. After this, it'll jump to the index 3, then the index 5, then the index 7, and so on, depending how long the array is. Now we need to return the rearranged array where the indices contain even numbers and odd indices contain odd numbers, by coming right here and we just say return R. Boom, y'all. That should be all she wrote. So let's go ahead and run it, give it a run. Okay, let's see. Can I find odd counter and scope? So, let's add a D here and run it again, see if that does the trick. It's accepted, so let's go ahead and submit it. Make sure it's still accepted after we submit it. Let's see. And look at that, y'all. 0 milliseconds beats 100% of users. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'd like to see, y'all. So with that being said, make sure you get one more look at the code. And yeah, I hope y'all learned something today, and I hope to see y'all here tomorrow for another day, another LeetCode problem. See y'all then.